Right.
All right.
I'm trying to hide it behind the wall. When the camera comes, they're waiting on Paul and I'll jump the bus. I see.
Good evening. Good evening to our standing room only crowd. Love to see that. I'm calling to order the Orleans Parish School Board business meeting for March 23rd, 2023. The time is now 5:34 p.m. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Parker? Mr. Zervagon?
Present.
Mr. Ashley? Dr. Batiste?
Present.
Ms. Bodwin?
Present.
Ms. Eames?
Present.
Mr. Marshall?
Present.
Also present, Dr. Avis Williams, Superintendent, Ashley Halpern, Board Counsel. You have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brown. Interpretation services are available during today's meeting, and so with that, I'll yield to our interpreters.
Thank you, President Parker. Good evening, board members. Good evening, Dr. Williams, Superintendent. Good evening, everyone. My name is Viet Quinn Pham. I will provide interpretation services in Vietnamese. Xin chào toàn thể quý vị. Tôi tên là Việt. Tôi là thông dịch viên. Tôi sẽ thông dịch cho quý vị ở buổi họp này. Nếu quý vị cần, xin cho tôi biết. Xin chân thành cảm ơn.
Good evening, board members. Good evening, Dr. Williams and members of the community. My name is Selena Martinez, and I will be providing interpretation services for you today in Spanish. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Selena Martinez. Yo voy a estar interpretando en español para cualquier miembro de la comunidad que necesite ayuda. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're now moving on to item 1.2, and so I will yield to Board Member Eames to lead us through the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you so much, Ms. Eames. We're now moving on to item 1.3, rules for public comment, so I will defer to our board counsel.
Anyone wishing to speak with regard to items on the agenda should fill out a public comment card and submit it to the board secretary. Cards will be received up to 1/2 hour after the meeting begins. Each person shall be permitted to speak up to 2 minutes, as established by the chair. I will recognize the speaker and give the speaker permission to proceed. The speaker shall state their name and address for the board records. Those who have a group concern are encouraged to select a spokesperson from the group to address the concern. Speakers are expected to be as concise as possible and to present their questions and comments in an objective manner in accordance with good taste and decorum and without reference to or insinuations against the board, its members, or school system employees. Disruptions or disorderly conduct at the business meeting will constitute grounds for the presiding officer to ask security personnel to remove the offender.
Thank you so much, Board Counsel. We're now moving on to item 1.4, the adoption of the agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda?
Yes, President Parker. There are several modifications to the agenda, the first of which is to move items 5.13 and 5.15 off of the consent agenda. So those will become action items 6.2 and 6.3. There will be an additional action item. I don't have the language for that at this time, and would ask President Parker that we come back to modify the agenda again as to that additional action item that is urgent.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Board Counsel. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended?
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Eames and seconded by Mr. Zervagon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda is adopted. All right, we are now moving quickly into item 2.1, adoption of the minutes. And I will once again turn it over to our Board Counsel.
It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board adopt the minutes of the February 9th, 2023 Board Business Meeting. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Bodwin, seconded by President Parker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes have been adopted.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Now that we've gotten all of that out of the way, it's clear we have a lot of guests. It is a night of champions here at the Orleans Parish School Board meeting. So glad to have everybody here. We're really grateful for your presence. We've got some basketball champions, we've got some soccer champions, we've got some champions at life. So I will go ahead and yield to our superintendent to start us off.
All right. Well, good evening. I love seeing this room full and super excited about the celebrations that we have tonight. So want to start off with just a few things that we've been celebrating through the month. For starters, March is Women's History Month, and really appreciate our comms team for lifting up women within our school district over the course of this month. And it is certainly an honor to uplift all women, not only those that work here with us, but just those in history. And, I often say that we celebrate Women's History Month to take a moment to recognize the great achievements and accomplishments that women have had over the years. But we also do it because we know we still have work to do, right? There's this thing called a wage gap and, some other inequities that still exist in terms of gender lines. But I'm super excited to be able to celebrate all of the amazing women within NOLA PS, within our community and our nation as a whole, even as we continue to tackle tough issues and challenges. This month is also National Social Work Awareness Month, and I did have the pleasure of meeting with our phenomenal social worker team at Mahalia Jackson earlier this week, and the theme for this is social work breaks barriers. And we know this is true. When I think about my core value of equity, it's all about removing barriers and providing access, and I know that our social worker team does an amazing job of doing that. Our Office of Student Support and Attendance team works to support our schools on a regular basis and are always innovative in coming up with ways to continue to break barriers, and will be instrumental in working to ensure that we provide wraparound services for the community in a concept that I call the Hub that I'll tell you a little bit about later. So happy Social Work Awareness Month, and thank you to all of the amazing social workers that are a part of NOLA PS, as well as those in all of our schools and throughout our community that help ensure that we're addressing needs. Next, I want to give a shout out to Phyllis Wheatley Community School. And this is exciting, the school being recognized by the LDOE, the Department of Ed, as being exemplary in dedicating an instructional coach to literacy, tracking student data, and having a leadership team and staff committed to professional growth. And you all know that literacy is close to my heart as a former English teacher and just a lover of reading and books and learning. And we know that our scholars have to have strong literacy skills, and especially those early skills, in order to progress successfully through middle school and high school. So congratulations to Phyllis Wheatley Community School, and thank you to you and to your CEO, Sabrina Pence, for the work that you do and for your dedication and commitment to ensuring that literacy is the forefront of your work. All right, now it's time for some real fun, y'all. So you see we've got a room full of people. We've got a lot of special guests here tonight. And I'm going to recognize several groups and individuals tonight, and definitely want to present certificates as appropriate and take time for pictures. And so as I go through the groups, we'll do the recognition and we'll get a picture of you. And I invite you to stay as long as you like to our wonderful meeting tonight. However, we do understand if you've got another obligation in which you need to leave for. So the first one is a big shout out to the Living School. And the Living School has an amazing partnership with Upbeat Academy. And they work with legends to learn music production and vocal performance. In December, some of their scholars performed, and it generated national recognition on the Today Show. Good Morning America. And I want to shout out these amazing scholars. Is Stephen Pasternak here? Is our Living School scholars here? Y'all give them a round of applause anyway. And since this is around the art of music, I'm just going to say publicly they owe us a song. But we congratulate them and definitely look forward to hearing more from the young men that are a part of that group. All right, we have a number of teachers who are National Board certified within our ranks, and we are super excited to recognize some of them here tonight. These teachers that I'm about to recognize, this is for their initial certification. And y'all, the National Board certification, it's a high bar. You know, it's a high standard, and I really commend any teacher for embarking in this endeavor for the first time or those who continue to renew. So congratulations to Susan Kessler from Kip Moriel. Is Susan here? Congratulations to Christine Baumhurst from 42 Charter School. Congratulations to Rachel Becker from Ben Franklin High School. Yay. And again, you know, that National Board certification is very commendable, and especially knowing the work and the dedication and the time commitment that goes into that. So we congratulate you for that. And we also have several teachers who maintained their certification. As challenging as it is to get in the first place, it's equally challenging and takes a level of commitment to continue that work. So Keith Hart from the Willow School. Is Keith here? Are you going to stand, Mr. Keith? Is he here? Okay, he's not here. All right. Well, y'all are here representing him? Okay. Lauren Delsparger from Morris Jeff Community School. Is Lauren here? Julie Rodanis, also from the Willow School. So congratulations to all of these teachers. And again, those last three that I mentioned, those are the teachers who have renewed their certification. And again, it takes a lot of dedication. All right, are there any basketball players here by chance? Maybe, yes. All right, we are excited. Yes, we're excited to welcome the boys basketball team from George Washington Carver. Yes. Yes, earlier this month, yes. Earlier this month, they won their second straight state championship, defeating Madison Prep Academy of Baton Rouge by a score of 34-25. So we want to say a big congratulations to you all. The team's GPA average is 3.34, so truly scholar athletes. Over half the team made honor roll or principal's honor roll during the year. Carver is New Orleans' only open enrollment high school to earn an A Progress Index letter grade in 2022. So again, truly scholar athletes. And we want to acknowledge head coach Nathaniel Roche and his three assistants, Devin Andrew, Blair Brinson, and Rodney Bartholomew. And commend all of you for your relentless focus on these young men and pouring into these young men over the course of this school year and beyond, I'm sure. So congratulations, and can I get a picture with you? All right. The mayor danced with them.
Board members, come on. Let's go take a photo.
Shorty guys.
You're recording or is it on to record? I was asking, should I mention the recording?
Oh, I don't know. You gotta ask her, I'm not sure.
All right, y'all ready on 3? 1, 2, 3. Hold it. 1, back to back. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Back to back. Back to back again, and this time say it like you mean it, okay?
Hold on, Rams, before you leave. Before you leave, Rams, come back. I just want to say one thing very quickly. Obviously, we're very proud of your accomplishments. For those in the crowd that don't know, I believe y'all were a 6 seed heading into the tournament. Is that right? And after I got to say it publicly because I was saying it privately, after beating John F. Kennedy High School, which is a wonderful District 3 school, you rolled to a championship. But what I don't think people understand that 3 seasons ago, y'all were state finalists. Is that correct? And you lost by 1 point. And then you came back the next year and you won it, and you came back the next year when no one expected you to win it, and you won it again. And so I just wanted to shine on your story because it's really incredible, and it just speaks to the perseverance of what's happening at Carver. Congratulations. Thank you, gentlemen. And I'll be cheering for you unless you're playing a District 3 school. So congrats.
Congratulations. Thank you. All right. Is there a soccer team in the house? All right. So we are also super excited to welcome the boys soccer team from the Willow School, who last month won their 3rd state champion, defeating Bossier High School by a score of 4-1. Yay! Y'all come on down. So some of the district honors that go along with this, overall MVP, overall district MVP, all district first team members. We have several of those, several all district second team members, all state nominations, as well as all state all-star game participants within this amazing group of young men. Through 3/4 of the school year, the team's overall GPA was 3.49, so more scholar athletes. 3 of these scholars earned perfect 4.0 GPAs throughout the year, y'all. 6 of the 7 seniors received academic all-star honors with cumulative GPAs of 3.5 or better during their high school career. So congratulations to you guys for this 3rd state championship, and especially for being scholar athletes. Let's take a picture.
Oh, right by Chase. His name is Chase. Charles, you get it.
Yeah, that works. Tell them to come in front. Yep. Woohoo! All right, everybody look this way. Hold it. It'll take a few. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Seniors. All right, congratulations. Where you guys going? That's strange to you. Congratulations, Congratulations, y'all.
Yeah. Dr. London was just named the permanent CEO of Willow. So I don't know if you want to say that, but it happened yesterday.
Also want to congratulate Dr. Nicolette London as the permanent CEO of the Willow School. Awesome. All right. So earlier this month, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yep.
Willow School being a District 6 school, and Ms. London, us having worked in the system for so long, and I was so thrilled when you were first hired at the Willow School, and I am thrilled that you were given the permanent seat to lead the school. I think you've done a tremendous job in the time that you've been there, so I was thrilled to hear the news and so glad to have you with us. We know now in the permanent seat for a while. So welcome and congratulations.
Mr. President, as the representative from District 4 and the home of my employer, University of Holy Cross, I'm so happy to welcome and to congratulate Nicolette London, who is one of our newest applicants in our doctoral program at the University of Holy Cross. Congratulations.
All right. Earlier this month, the LDOE, the Department of Ed, named 24 students as finalists in the state's annual Students of the Year competition. The honorees include one 5th, 8th, and 12th grader from each of the state's 8 Bessie regions. And I am so super happy and excited to announce that William Shee, a senior at the Willow School, is one of the 12th grade finalists this year. Yes, so just a little background about this. Students are selected based on criteria that measures their academic achievement, leadership skills, character, and service to their schools as well as their community. Regional selection committees also use student-made portfolios to recognize their accomplishments. William is a first-generation American, and he has attended the Willow School since 2017. He says that his interest in liberal arts has always allowed him to perceive the world through a creative and romantic lens. I love that. As he explains this gives him an edge in problem-solving skills, mixing reason with sensibility, which makes perfect sense. With an interest in biomedical sciences, he hopes to one day create and manage more personalized, holistic health care for children, and so that they may be treated for illnesses while minimizing the stress that is related to hospital stays. And I think that's so commendable. He's the founder and president of the HOSA Club at the Willow School, and HOSA is Health Occupations Students of America. He's a children's hospital volunteer, the first Asian American Eagle Scout in his Scouts troop. Yeah, I love that. He's a cross-country runner, so y'all know he's good people because he's a runner, right? Advanced piano player, GPA above 4.3. He loves academic games and an Oshner Star program participant. So please give him another round of applause. Oh, yeah, there's more. William will attend the University of Pennsylvania and plans to obtain a dual degree in nursing and healthcare management. So yay, stay right there, William. We need a picture.
Wait, one more.
All right. That was exciting. And I have something else exciting. You may or may not have noticed a sea of red. Yeah. So today is the Delta Sigma Theta's Day at the School Board. I was going to say Day at the Capitol, Day at the School Board. And I'm super excited to welcome our sorors here tonight. And Soror Adele London is going to present on behalf of our alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, members of the Orleans Parish School Board, Dr. Williams, Superintendent, and all who are present this evening. I'm Adele London. I'm the Social Action Chair for New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, a local chapter with a membership of over 600 African-American women. Delta Sigma Theta sorority is an international sisterhood and an organization of college educated women founded on principles of sisterhood, scholarship, service, and social action. This evening, the New Orleans Alumni Chapter is here for Delta Days at the Orleans Parish School Board to make known to you, the board, our sorority's long-standing belief in and efforts towards equitable access to quality education for all children. We are here to voice our concerns about educational disparities made more evident by the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite decades of advocacy and civil rights efforts, American schools remain largely separate and unequal. Black students, especially those from economically depressed households and communities, are likely to be attending schools with significantly less funding and widening resource gaps compared to their often white and wealthy counterparts. As evidence research shows from the Brookings Institute reveal, the wealthiest 10% of U.S. schools, their school districts, spending nearly 10 times more than the poorest 10%. And that this 3-to-1 spending ratio is common across the United States. This compounds disparagement for students, particularly those who are Black and who are poor. They disparately face underqualified teachers and teacher shortages, inadequate educational materials and curriculum, and more. When these factors are combined with the misguided view that if students do not achieve, it is their own fault, children of color, and Black children in particular, are often victim blamed and left behind. These outcomes are not new, but rather they are continuously perpetuated and rooted in a national history marred by racism and classism. The impact of COVID-19 on education and the shift to remote and digital learning has further exacerbated educational disparities for Black children across the country. Now more than ever, school boards like yours and policymakers collectively and collaboratively must be even more intentional and deliberate about relying on reputable, evidence-based data for improving the state of education in the following. 1, for eradicating policies that cause and perpetuate educational gaps in Black and poor communities. 2, creating policies to level the playing field. 3, for advancing equity by demanding that school operators hire qualified teachers with comparable living wages. 4, for compelling school operators to implement rigorous curricula, quality resources and programs as a substantial start towards a competitive 21st century education for all children. As our soror, great educator and phenomenal woman in history, Mary McLeod Bethune said, we have a powerful potential in our youth, and we must have the courage to change old ideas and practices so that we may direct their power towards good ends. We wholeheartedly believe this statement to be true and take great pride in working towards that end. It reflects evidence, and therefore we call on you to do the same. We, members of New Orleans Alumni Chapter and the whole of Delta Sigma Theta, Sorority Incorporated, also attend to educational disparities and inequities by, one, advocating for the collection and sharing of data on the impact of COVID-19, that impact COVID-19 has had on student performance and achievement, supporting the creation of an Office of Equity within the Louisiana Department of Education and within NOLA Public Schools, advocating for equitable funding and resourcing policies throughout school districts and across states, advocating for policies and supporting programs that incentivize high-quality teachers to teach in underserved school districts, advocating for the implementation of support systems to close those achievement gaps for students who lag due to historic educational gaps, advocating for policies that end the school-to-prison pipeline and over-policing and disciplining of Black children in schools, and supporting policies that require a racial equity lens be applied to all school policies and curriculum. And we would be remiss not to mention the growing attack on Black studies, Black history, and culture. As many of you already know, Florida's Department of Education recently rejected an African-American AP course in Florida, with Florida's Governor DeSantis calling this College Board accredited curricula indoctrination and not education. This dangerous and growing belief that programs and classes focused on race and diversity are inherently discriminatory. And now Florida can strictly limit how topics like race and sex in American history can be discussed, if indeed at all, in classrooms. Just last month, Florida House Bill 999 proposes to ban diversity, inclusion courses, and programming on university campuses across the state. Although these attacks on Black studies, equity and inclusion and diversity are currently in Florida and in many other states, we are not so removed to believe that this will not affect the rest of the country and Louisiana and New Orleans. Florida is only the litmus test. While we know that Orleans Parish School Board does not share these archaic beliefs and actively promotes diversity and inclusion as necessary goals for quality education of all children, it is interconnected. This is merely the furtherance of race and class-based decisions that persistently result in educational disparagement for marginalized children, particularly, and all students widely. These issues are not mutually exclusive. House Bill 999 in Florida ups the stakes. Should this board and others be subjected to forces calling for the whitewashing of history and the decimation of Black, brown, and indigenous students' cultures and cultural identities, please know you can count on New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta to stand with this body and fight these subversive forces to erase our stories and silence our voices. For surely Black history is American history as well as world history. The African experience in America is legitimate and necessary for global study and exploration by all students. Indeed, fighting for equitable and inclusive education for the children of New Orleans is a good fight. And we, the New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, we stand ready to get into some good trouble. Again, New Orleans Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta would like to thank you for allowing us this time and giving us a little time on your agenda. And as it is Women's History Month, we would like to do a special presentation. If Sarah, Dr. Williams would come down, and Sarah Adrian Woods will come up to make a very special presentation. Good afternoon, board and guests.
Dr. Williams, because it is March, Women's History Month, we thought it'd be fitting to recognize you as a history maker. The award reads, the New Orleans Alumni Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, salutes Dr. Avis Williams as the first permanent woman superintendent elected by the Orleans Parish School Board. And it is signed off by our chapter president, Rita B. Weary. So thank you so much for what you've done.
Yeah, can we? Can we do a picture? Yeah. Yay. You better come on. Oh, you get it.
Oh, yes, I have to. I have to multitask. Wait,
Girl, you can get in the Tammy. Tammy, just stand in there.
Roxy, I fell yesterday.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, no.
All right, so thank you all so much for your indulgence. I'm going to move through my March updates. Do have a few updates to share. I'm going to start off with school visits. Had a great time over the last few weeks. We did get to Bricolage, Foundation Prep Academy, JFK, the Net Gentilly, as well as Moulton Charter Schools. And please check our social media because I love the postings there where you can see all of the pictures with our amazing scholars as well as the school leaders. So I want to just share a little bit about what's been going on. So starting off with what's good. So these are just some of the things that we've accomplished over the last few months. We did hold about 30 ABC tour meetings, and over the course of my entry, this included engaging well over 400 stakeholders. We've started 2 solution circles. The one on enrollment has actually been completed, and we did get a set of recommendations from the team that worked with us, many of which have already been implemented, and those that are not implemented yet, we're certainly researching and working to ensure that we can address them. I'm really excited about the current solution circle that we just recently started, which is for school quality. So we have a group of stakeholders, mostly parents, who are weighing in on how do you define school quality. Because as we think about the work of improving our portfolio of schools, school quality is always top of mind, and it was certainly one of the themes that arose during the ABC tour meetings. And so we look forward to wrapping up that solution circle in the coming week, and I look forward to hearing more about their recommendations. And Raphael Simmons is leading that work, and he will work with the team to get a report for us for the April board meeting in terms of how we land with that solution circle. District optimization. This has been a very busy topic over the course of the last few months. And, you know, we will open the school year next year with fewer schools and fewer networks, which is going to save the district money and also reduce at least 400 seats, that we'll be taking about 400 seats offline, which is important as we consider our declining enrollment and knowing that as the population of our city continues to decrease, that there are going to be opportunities for us to continue to look at district optimization as a strategy that we use for long-term sustainability of our district. Have enjoyed working closely with our school leaders, our transition team, and also forming teacher, student, and family advisory groups. And these groups will meet quarterly. We've already started that work this week, meeting quarterly with those groups so that they can also inform our work and ensure that we are aware of any challenges that they're facing as they work to support their schools and to support their scholars. This also includes working closely with local and state legislators and working on getting a regular schedule. Although we meet as needed, we want it to be something that we're doing proactively rather than reactively. So looking forward to working with Brian Egana on some regular scheduling in terms of our local and state legislators. And certainly have enjoyed leading with equity, excellence, and joy throughout all of this. And so I wanted to discuss district priorities as we move forward. And the 4 that are listed here are top of mind. Number 1 being reimagining the strategic plan. And, you know, this is something that I've been talking about since the start of my tenure. The strategic plan, of course, was written the year before I got here, and it was basically put on hold as a roadmap that we could use to guide the initial steps of our work, knowing that as we embarked in the work that there may be some changes. And when you consider that the strategic plan was completed in 2021, which means that it was written, within that year prior to that, and a lot has changed over the 2 years. And so I look forward to working with our team, and I'll share with you some of the feedback that we've received that's helped us to identify some strategic planning priorities. The second is developing an accountability framework, and this is work that has been ongoing since about September of last year, and working closely with our school leaders as we do this. Also collaborating with stakeholders to address many community challenges, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. And then improving our overall school quality, which is about our 5-year portfolio plan. So first, the district reimagining the strategic plan. These are the 4 areas that have been lifted up that align with the previously written strategic plan, but also hit some of the targets and themes that came up over the ABC tour time. So it's communication, school quality, community partnerships, and operational infrastructure. So starting off, talking about, did you skip a slide? I thought communication was first, but maybe not. School. Yep. well, go ahead. School quality. And for the priorities for school quality, we're looking at our portfolio strategy. And as you know, we do have a 5-year portfolio planning team that's been meeting for several weeks now, maybe about a little over a month now at this point. And the goal of that team is to consider what is the next iteration of NOLA Public Schools look like. How do we view our portfolio in terms of the choice, the quality, and the variety of our portfolio? This is also about the accountability framework as we consider school quality. What does that mean for our renewal processes? What does it mean for the supports that we provide schools? It's also leaning in and supporting early literacy. And we know that we've worked closely with our partners with early literacy and early learners to ensure that we are promoting the seats that we have available, ensuring families have access to those seats. And then, of course, literacy in general. Some of this is state-driven, but we also know that our scholars need high-quality literacy supports, and that is part of school quality. Community partnerships. This is really all about just prioritizing the needs of the overall community. What does it look like for us to work together with partners with our community? And this is addressing everything from mental health and trauma, the truancy issues, crime, gun violence, and other challenges as they arrive that impact either the quality of life or the well-being of our scholars and their families. And we're doing all of this through a lens of equity. So when we consider the challenges, we are also looking at how those challenges impact our most vulnerable family members, and what are some things that we can do in partnership with the community to help offset those things. Operational infrastructure, and you all know that we just wrapped up our surplus properties meetings, and that was a major part of operational infrastructure as we dig into our facilities and planning, again, for long-term sustainability. And a shout out to Tiffany Delcor and our team that has really dug in deep in analyzing our current state and how we can utilize our facilities to, again, pour into the community, to provide resources for the community. And this is going to be an ongoing piece as we look at, again, that long-term sustainability. And one of the things that I'm excited about with this is how our facilities and the fact that we have the facilities can support some of those partnerships and needs from within the whole community. And the operational infrastructure also includes our internal workings from human resources and finance and so forth, and making sure that those teams have the resources and supports that they need to be successful as well. Accountability, and this is where we get into the next priority. And this, again, is about making sure that as authorizers that we are indeed holding our schools, our charter schools accountable. And as we look at our accountability framework, we're really leaning into growth and considering the impact that growth has in addition to proficiency as it relates to how we view our schools. We've talked a good deal recently about poverty index, and this is something that President Parker feels very passionately about. And it's a great thing for us to consider as we look at the difference in some of our schools' poverty levels and the impact that it has on learning. Also, the student experience. What does it look like for us to rate school quality based on the impact that schooling is having on our scholars, and hearing their voices as we do this. And we do this with data. So it's all about quantitative as well as qualitative data as we consider accountability. And collaboration, and this again goes back to those community partnerships. And mental health is one of the biggest issues that we're really working with our community partners on, but that's also the safety task force that's leaning into, again, the violence and particularly gun violence. And I mentioned before the early childhood education. We certainly appreciate Agenda for Children and our other partners that help ensure that we are able to provide high quality early learning for our community. Then the portfolio plan, and I mentioned that this is all about quality, quantity, choice, and variety. And the team that's working on this will begin the stakeholder engagement part of this over the coming months, and looking forward to learning more about how our community views these 4 areas. Not just the quality piece, but what are the choices that our families have? When we think about being a district of choice, what does that mean for families who are looking at schools? I'm really excited about looking at variety, because I do know that we've got a lot of room to enhance the variety and the diversity of the offerings within our portfolio. And so that stakeholder engagement will be a major piece to help inform how we move forward with our portfolio planning. And that's in a synopsis of kind of where we are. Looking forward to the completion of our Portrait of a Graduate. We are about to launch NOLA PS CARES later this year, and CARE is our Community Access to Resources and Equity, which is really about improving quality of life. Looking forward to a continued collaboration and making sure families have access to wraparound services. And I mentioned the hub earlier. This is a concept that I saw in Shreveport in Caddo Parish, where they've got a one-stop shop for families. And so we're working with community members and partners to see what it would look like for us to be able to do something similar. And then also supporting teachers, doing this through grants and partnerships with university and college partnerships, as well as our workforce development partners, to make sure that teachers have the support that they need, because at the end of the day, none of the work that needs to be done can be done if we don't have effective teachers who feel valued and have the again, resources that they need to be successful. And so that's in a nutshell kind of where we are and a little bit about what's next. And I will take any questions before I move to citing decisions.
Thank you so much, Superintendent. I'll start. I don't have extensive questions, but I am extremely impressed by this update and the amount of work that you have put in the last 8 months. It is clear that we are moving very far in a very short amount of time, and I'm just grateful to you, and I know your entire team is responsible for that as well. So I just wanted to thank you for this update and for all of the work that has gone into your tenure here.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, I will move to the citing decisions. And as you all know, this process does involve a team effort as we consider where our schools need to be located and making sure that we're doing everything possible to ensure that as many scholars as possible, all of our scholars as much as possible, are in high quality facilities. So first of all, I am citing Elon Academy to the Rosenwald building located at 6501 Berkeley Drive. Elon Academy is currently housed at William Fisher Elementary School, which is a Tier 4 or a low-quality school. And this move will ensure that students attend a school that is recently renovated in a high-quality building. The William Fisher facility will become vacant, and the final surplus property strategy criteria will be applied to the building once adopted by the board. So again, Elon Academy to the Rosenwald building. Next, I am citing Morris Jeff Community School to the William France building located at 3811 North Galvez Street. Morris Jeff High School has been temporarily located at the Joseph S. Clark building, the Joseph S. Clark High School, for the past several years, and this siting change provides a permanent home to Morris Jeff High School. The Joseph S. Clark School will continue to be used as swing space for purposes of the district. We did have an application process as we looked at several buildings that schools could apply for, and I am citing Renew's therapeutic program and early childhood programming to the Edgar P. Harney building located at 2503 Willow Street. Renew currently offers desperately needed programming for students in 3 separate locations. This consolidation of programs to one centrally located facility will improve parent access and also expand early childhood seats in our city. And I'm really excited to be able to do that and to see these programs to be housed in one central location, because I know that's going to make a big difference in terms of access for our families. Lastly, I am citing the International High School of New Orleans to the Albert Dent Building located at 2733 Espelon Avenue. International High School currently resides in the Raybuan High School, the lowest quality district-owned facility that is occupied by students. This relocation will allow students access to a higher facility, and the current building will become vacant, and the final surplus property strategy criteria will be applied to the building once adopted by the board. And those are the citing decisions that I am sharing tonight. And I'll take any questions or comments from the board.
I'll just say thank you for yours and your team's work on this and really working to fulfill our goal of making sure that our students are in the highest quality buildings that they can be, and that we're being budget conscious as well with these decisions. So thank you.
Thank you.
If I could, I'd just love to, I would love to lift up all of these programs, but in the interest of time, I want to lift up the work that's being done at Elon Academy. And I'm so happy that they're moving to the Rosenwald facility. They really deserve a high quality facility. They have been doing some excellent work in some of our lowest quality facilities for the past several years. And I just want, they provide a classical education for students primarily from the West Bank. And I have been to Elon multiple times and just been so impressed by the students there, and how they speak not only their academic accomplishments, but how highly they speak of their school. I also just want to shout out Renew for their programming. They have long been a leader in the space of early childhood education, of providing therapeutic services to students, and I'm glad that you'll be able to centralize those in one location.
Thank you, and that concludes my updates if there are no other questions. Thank you.
Okay. Well, board members, we still have one guest to acknowledge, and so I'm happy to move on to item 4.1. I would like to welcome Mr. Todd Wackerman, the Executive Director, and Maria Landrum, the Service Learning Manager of the STEM Library Lab. They're going to share with us some information about their organization's efforts to support and improve science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM education in K-12 public schools. So, Mr. Wackerman, Ms. Landrum, please take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, board members and Superintendent Williams. Superintendent Williams, thank you for your comments on the needs of supporting our teachers just a few minutes ago. So STEM Library Lab, I'm excited to be here to present to you about STEM Library Lab, and actually about our service learning program, which has nothing to do with STEM. It is a subject agnostic program that I'm excited to tell you about. And I need a clicker. There it is. We got it. Oh, great. So my name is Todd Wackerman. I'm the Executive Director of STEM Library Lab, and this is Maria Landrum, our Service Learning Program Manager. For a little context, STEM Library Lab is a nonprofit that serves teachers. We provide teachers with support, resources, tools, and services to help them be their best selves inside and outside of the classroom. And we do that through a number of ways. I'm going to tell you a few of them, and then I'm going to pass the mic over to Maria. So our Equipment Lending Co-op was our flagship program. It is basically a big room full of science classroom equipment, and we invite teachers from across the greater New Orleans region to come visit this space. They visit, they get equipment. That could be magnets and iron filings. It could be radiation probes. It could be from our wall of spherical objects. So teachers can come, they can borrow these materials, use them in their classroom, and then give them back when they're done, and other teachers use them after. There's 3 ways that teachers engage with the Equipment Lending Co-op. The first is anyone can walk in and borrow for free. A teacher can walk in and take up to 5 items, use it in their classroom, give it back when they're done, and get 5 more. We also have a school membership option that has about 40 schools in the New Orleans area, and with the membership option, the school pays a small annual membership fee, and they, in return, will go to their school, will orient all their teachers, make sure they understand how to use the services. They get unlimited borrowing of anything they want from the co-op. We'll pick up and deliver items to their school, and if they need something that we don't have in the library already, we'll buy that item for them, give it to them, they'll give it back when they're done, and it'll be on the shelves. So enabling any teacher in this city to have access to everything they need for their classrooms to do high-quality science. Since we opened, we've served over 600 teachers. We have 41 member schools, 85 free borrowing schools. We've saved classrooms over $450,000. For schools that have identified that the quality of science classroom instruction is a growth area for them, we also offer a series called Engaging Teachers in LSS-Aligned Instruction, which is a full-service professional development that I believe is unparalleled in the region in terms of providing what teachers need to be able to be high-quality science teachers. So it's based on best practices that are passed down from the DOE. It's differentiated for elementary, middle, and high schools, and it is not based on any one curriculum. Whatever curriculum the school has adopted for science, we'll take the materials from that curriculum and we'll plan out the work and the practice that they do to ensure that this is tailored to the needs of the actual school. There is also a workshop for coaches and administrators on how to observe and evaluate science classrooms. We've trained 85 teachers and 22 administrators through this, and we've worked with 10 schools in the New Orleans area. Another program we run is called the Teacher Free Store. So it's another big room full of stuff, but in this case, it's science. It's just basic classroom equipment like staplers and folders and binders and printers and anything, and coffee makers, anything that teachers might need. They just walk in. It's a free store for teachers. They fill up a bag, they take what they need, and they leave. It includes a free laminator and poster printer, as well as co-working space so they can come and just have a relaxing cup of coffee or soda or whatever they need to drink after a long day. That program has served over 500 teachers, 120 schools in the greater New Orleans area, and saved teachers over $600,000 in classroom supplies. So I'm going to pass the mic to Maria to tell you about our service learning program.
I didn't pass the mic. Thanks, Todd. Thank you all for having us here today. I really appreciate being able to share information about the service learning program. We've been trying really hard to get the word out, but it's slow going, but this should probably help us a little bit, so thank you. All right, so the service learning program started about 30 years ago. It was founded by the Brown Foundation. Just a year ago, we took over administering the program, but is still funded by the Brown Foundation. One of their major initiatives is education, and they selected service learning as something to pursue and fund because research says it's one of the best ways to enhance curriculum. I've put on the screen some project examples that are actually in action this year. The service learning is not the same as community service. It's a combination of community service and academic content. The service component has a relevant tie to the curriculum, and this pedagogy is both, well, it's experiential, it's inquiry-based, and it's project-based. As far as the eligibility and guidelines go, it's pretty basic. If it's a school that's K through 12 in Louisiana, they're eligible, both public and private schools. Any subject area is eligible. The grants are non-competitive, so if multiple teachers from one school wanted to apply, they can. If a teacher wants to apply for more than one grant, they can. So while both public and private schools are able to apply for this grant opportunity, unfortunately only 3 public schools from Orleans Parish are currently doing service learning projects. So I'm here today in part to ask you, please share the message with your stakeholders and let them know that this opportunity exists. So you might be asking, why service learning? Why should we entertain this? Why is it important? It can help students with teamwork, bridging the gap between applying their learning and what they're doing in the classroom. They become more socially engaged. It helps build self-confidence. It helps build empathy. It helps develop critical thinking skills. It increases student engagement. It involves reflective practice. Also, these students are learning largely by practicing practicing the material or applying the skill set. That is one of the best ways for students to retain information. And finally, the really great thing is you're doing something that benefits the community. And there are a whole host of other great reasons why you should consider service learning, but that's just, well, it's a lot, but it's a few. All right, so another thing that we wanted to share today is traditionally folks have done homegrown programs or written their own projects, outlined it themselves, found a service partner. We know that that can be a lot of additional work. So we have started partnering with community organizations and developing curriculum so that it's easier for teachers. For this coming school year, we have partnered with the Green Project, Fair Housing, and Unity to do projects around recycling and homelessness and affordable housing. Those ready-to-go projects will be available basically now for application. So all anyone needs to do really is get in touch with me. Trying to think if there are any other details about ready to go I should share. I'm going to move on. And also, there are some great incentives for applying for a service learning grant. If you're funded, the principal for just one time, the principal will get a $500 award to use as he, she, or they see fit. And just to be clear, if a school is awarded 10 grants, they still only get $500. I don't want to say, it's $50,000, woo. Also, the Brown Foundation will pay for the students who are participating to go to the World War II Museum. I probably shouldn't say this yet, but we are working on something for younger students. I'm not going to say what it is, but we are working on something that might be more appropriate for younger students as well. I had a teacher say to us, hey, I've got K through third grade. Could you please not just give us World War II Museum? It's not really age appropriate. So at this time, thank you again, and I'm going to turn it back over to Todd.
All right. I'm just going to wrap things up. So what should you do next? We have a service learning showcase on April 5th. You should send all of the teachers and all the administrators in the districts where you operate to attend this service learning showcase. They'll see projects that are currently happening in action, and they'll be able to get ideas and inspiration so that they can submit their own projects, which are due on May 5th. So this program is really friendly. Any teacher who wants to apply, Maria will help them write that application. We'll make sure they can do it. And these are fully funded projects, so they cost nothing out of pocket. So buses are funded, food on the project is funded, the program fees are funded. These are fully funded projects available to any teacher in Orleans Parish. So next things to do are send your teachers to attend this showcase to get some ideas, to invite them to schedule time with Maria. She'll do a workshop. She'll help walk teachers through this. And then to visit STEM Library Lab and learn about all of the programs that we offer to teachers. Our mission is to help make sure teachers have what they need to be their best selves. The only thing we're missing is more teachers walking through that door. All the pieces of the puzzle are ready. We'd love for you to come see this space and understand just what we're doing. And we'll keep on rolling. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wackerman. Thank you, Ms. Landrum. Board members, do you have any questions or comments for our guests? Board Member Boblin?
I would just like to say that you've come a long way. I remember when one little classroom in John McDonald building, and now you've grown so much. Thank you for your steadfast work in this area. We really need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to put a plug in for service learning and how important it is, and I love that y'all are working on that. I think the STEM stuff's cool too, but service learning really, it was fully integrated into my high school curriculum, and it was very meaningful to myself and my classmates. And I think it should be brought into all of our schools. I think it's what we used to call social emotional learning back when I was in high school. It really builds that that part of your brain, which is an important part to build in high school. So I hope all of our teachers take advantage, learn more about this. I'm happy to make sure all of our teachers know about it, and thanks for coming today.
Thank you so much. Thank
you.
I'll just end by saying, I have had the pleasure of touring a previous iteration, not the John Mack facility, but when it was at Medard Nelson. And from my own experience as a teacher, I remember taking advantage of resources like this, certainly not this extensive, but able to get math manipulatives, able to get trundle wheels, and those are some of the lessons that stick out to me as a teacher, and I know that my students remember them for a long time. They were materials that my school could not afford at the time, or chose not to afford. I don't know what the answer is, but they were made available to me, and the fact that you are able to make those materials available to our teachers is really important and really impactful, and I'm very grateful for that, especially since I know, thinking about the free store, it just reiterated to me, I know that our teachers spend so much of their own personal money on their classrooms, on things like staplers, on things like colored paper, on very basic things, because oftentimes it's just easier to do it that way. And the fact that it's available to them for free, and the fact that you've made available over $600,000 worth of supplies is truly incredible. So I would just ask Ms. Brown if you could just connect again with Mr. Wackerman. I would love to set up a time for the board to come and visit, and we'll be certain to invite some of our CMO leaders, their teachers, and their administrators as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. What a great meeting this is. Wow. Thank you all so much. Okay, we're now going to move on to our consent agenda, and so I will defer to our board counsel to take us through items 5.1 through 5. Whatever we decided.
Okay, President Parker, before we move to the consent agenda, would you like to, we do have the language now for the additional action items to perhaps.
Yes, let's go ahead and let's hear that language and let's take those next steps.
Okay, so I think there are 2 additional action items which need to be added to the agenda, so the board will need to vote to add those. Both action items relate to a CEA. The district just received the documents from the state, and these items are time sensitive because the district needs to start ordering equipment. When we get to those, if there are any questions, Ms. Delcor can answer questions, but for the purpose of modifying the agenda at this time, the 2 additional action items will become action item 6.4 and 6.5. Action item 6.4 will be the first amended cooperative endeavor agreement between the state of Louisiana, the New Orleans Career Center, Orleans Parish School Board, expanding high wage, high demand career and technical training, FP&C project 50-N17-21-01. And the second will be a resolution, Resolution 09-23, regarding signature authority for the state capital outlay and funding for the Dr. Alice R. Jeffreys Career Center. Is there a motion to amend the agenda to add those 2 items?
Yes, so moved.
Moved by Mr. Zervigon and seconded by Mr. Parker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion has been amended, so we now have action items 6.4 and 6.5. So going back to the consent agenda, moving to consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.12, 5.14, and 5.16 through 5.19. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board move to approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.12, 5.14, and 5.16 through 5.19 as presented in Globo. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by President Parker and seconded by Ms. Bodwin. All those in favor?
Aye.
There's no public comment, and I see no board comment. Any opposed? Okay, the consent agenda has been approved. Now moving to our action items. Action item 6.1 is the third amendment to a contract with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, Inc. for risk management services. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve the third amendment to the contract with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, Inc. for risk management services for the period March 24th, 2023 through March 23rd, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $25,000, and authorize the general counsel to prepare the contract amendment for signature of the board president and the contractor. May I have a motion to approve action item 6.1?
So moved. Yes, second.
It's been moved by President Parker and seconded by Vice President Zervigon. There is no public comment on this action item. Is there any board comment? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, action item 6.1 has been adopted. Moving now to action item 6.2, which was the former 5.13. Just give me a second to get to that page. Okay, this action item is a request to award an invitation to bid number 23-FAC-0044 for building repairs from water infiltration system at the Elijah Bremer Junior School. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board accept the bid in the amount of $14,880,000 and alternate one in the amount of $165,000, totaling $15,045,000 from Gibbs Construction for the builder repairs from water intrusion at Elijah Bremer Junior School, and authorize the general counsel to prepare a contract for signatures for the board president and the contractor.
Yes, so moved.
Okay, it's been moved by Vice President Zervigon, seconded by Ms. Beaudoin. There's no public comment on this action item. Is there any board comment? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yes, I'd like to abstain for the reasons I stated on Tuesday.
Okay, action item 6.2 has been adopted. Moving now to action item 6.3. This is a request for approval for amendment number 2 to the contract with Mark I. Baum Architect for building repairs from water infiltration at the Elijah Bremer Junior School. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve amendment 2 to the contract with Mark I. Baum Architect for building repairs from water infiltration at the Elijah Bremer Junior School, increasing the architect's fee by $488,903 for an amended total of $1,078,505 based on the AFC value of the construction bid, and authorize the general counsel to prepare amendment number 2 for signatures of the board president and the contractor. Is there a motion to approve action item 6.3? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Beaudoin, seconded by Vice President Zervigon. There's no public comment on this action item. Is there any board comment? Okay, seeing none. There's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And any abstentions?
And I will abstain for the same reasons.
Okay. Action item 6.3 has been adopted. Now moving to action item 6.4. Action item 6.4 is the first amended cooperative endeavor agreement between the State of Louisiana, New Orleans Career Center, Orleans Parish School Board, expanding high-wage, high-demand career and technical training, FP&C Project 50-N17-21-01. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve the first amended cooperative endeavor agreement between the State of Louisiana, New Orleans Career Center, Orleans Parish School Board, expanding high-wage, high-demand career development, FP&C Project 50-N17-21-01, which provides for capital outlay funding from the State of Louisiana and the gross amount of $4.5 million for expanding high-wage, high-demand career development. Is there a motion to approve action item 6.4?
So moved.
Yeah, I think I have a motion. We are just getting this now, but I trust y'all so much, and think that the program is such an incredible program, and that money looks really good. So I'm going to make I'd like to make the motion or second, whichever.
Okay, I think President Parker made the motion.
He
and
beat
Vice
me to
President
it. I will
Zerbegon,
second.
You can second. There is one public comment card on this action item. This is from Claire Jecklin. Claire, if you would come to the podium and state your full name and address for the board record.
Hi, I'm Claire Jecklin. My address is 531 2nd Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70130. Greetings, board members, Superintendent Williams, NOLA PS staff, and community members. It is not often, probably, that people have comments on a CEA, but a CEA for $4.5 million does deserve some comment. And I think also, while tonight I'm here to request your approval, which I guess I don't need to request anymore, the acceptance of the $4.5 million from the Office of Facilities Planning and Control comes from the state of Louisiana. And a lot of folks are like, what is this? So I want to make sure that we know what this is and that anybody who's watching understands what this money is. So the Office of Facilities Planning and Control provides funding to projects that are not school, and they're community projects, nonprofits, city projects, et cetera, that are meant to foster growth and improve access in communities. So the New Orleans Career Center, back in 2017, was launched in partnership with NOLA PS to provide access and opportunity for New Orleans public school students for half-day career and technical training. And for the last 5 years, we've served over 1,000 NOLA PS students in temporary homes, like many in former elementary schools all over the city. And so today we are finally at the place that we've all been waiting for, post-pandemic. How do we move forward with accepting money as a nonprofit when the school board owns the building? And the answer is the school board needs to accept money on behalf of the nonprofit to put into the facility on behalf of students. And so I'm very proud that we were able to marshal $4.5 million. I do want to be clear that that this is not education funding. This is literally like facilities money. And that while the Career Center will grow to serve 700 students next year, the trades, all of the furniture for 2 floors needs to be covered by this funding. So that is why it is so urgent to push this forward. And while ultimately facilities planning and control will allow the money to go through NOLA PS, it will flow directly to the building, and we will be accountable for that money, and we are accountable for the match. And we understand that. And so with that, I just want to thank you so much for the ongoing partnership and commitment to finding a way to make the centralized career center possible.
Is there any board comment? President Parker.
Just briefly, I know we have some board members who have some flights to catch. So just briefly, I just want to say thank you for your work. And I know that this document and the CEA has been in development for a long time. We've had discussions about it for many, many years. And so to see it come to fruition is great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks also to NOLA PS staff, because working to the last minute really on making sure that this could come to us today and we didn't have to wait another month. So thank you all too.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, action item 6.4 has been adopted. Moving now to action item 6.5, which is resolution 09-23 regarding signature authority for the state capital outlay funding for Dr. Alice R. Jeffrey Career Center. It is recommended that the Orleans Parish School Board approve resolution 09-23 authorizing the superintendent or the superintendent's designee to perform the ministerial and administrative acts on behalf of the Orleans Parish School Board as required by the state of Louisiana for receipt of the capital outlay funding for the purchase of equipment necessary to access hands-on technical training for trainees at the Career Center pursuant to the Cooperative Endeavor Agreement between the state of Louisiana, New Orleans Career Center, and the Orleans Parish School Board, expanding high-wage, high-demand career and technical training, FP&C project 50-N17-21. Okay.
We'll move to accept the motion and waive the reading of the resolution.
Thank you. There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Marshall, seconded by Dr. Batiste. There's no public comment on this action item. Looks like no board comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Brown, may I have a roll call?
Mr. Parker? Yes. Mr. Zervigon?
Yes.
Mr. Ashley? Dr. Batiste?
Yes.
Ms. Bodwin?
Yes.
Ms. Eames? Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, President Parker.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Board Council. The time is now 6:58 p.m. May I have a motion to move into executive session?
To propose another motion, a substitute motion.
All right.
And that because these are status reports, and to honor my fellow board members' need to leave, that would leave us without a quorum. So I would say that we postpone that report until the next board meeting.
Thank you so much. Board Council, is there anything urgent regarding these updates?
I don't believe so.
Okay, thank you. Well, then I'm going to leave it up to you to figure out the parliamentary procedure for how we table this discussion.
So it sounds like you have a motion to.
I made a motion, but that motion was not seconded. It has died. So it sounds like we would need a substitute motion to.
That's what I
postpone
made.
this. Yep.
And the substitute motion, if that's appropriate.
Sure. Let's state for the record the substitute motion. It sounds like that we want to amend the agenda one more time to remove the executive session agenda item from today's agenda. So is that, Mr. Marshall, accurately stating what your motion was?
That was the intent.
Understood. So we have a motion by Mr. Marshall, a seconded by Ms. Bodwin. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Okay, that has been adopted.
I make a motion to adjourn the
Well,
meeting.
there are no further items on the agenda. Mr. Marshall, Mr. Marshall has made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? All right, the time is now 7 p.m. This meeting is adjourned. Wait, hold on. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The time is now 7 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.